Okay, everybody, so how are we doing today? So this will be my final story for today. The well of news that I like to do is pretty much dried up. And plus, I'm short on time for my usual upload time. But fear behind fury. As DNI Ratcliffe could expose FISA files that Russiagators hope stay buried. Oh boy. This prospect of John Ratcliffe as the new U.S. Director of... a little scratch in the back of my throat there. The prospect of John Ratcliffe as the new U.S. Director of National... Jesus. John Ratcliffe as the new U.S. Director of National Intelligence has Democrats and the media alarmed, far more so than usual, perhaps because as DNI he could expose things that would prefer to stay hidden. U.S. President Donald Trump announced on Saturday that he would nominate Congressman Ratcliffe to head the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, ODNI, to replace Daniel Coates. That leaves on August 15th. Ratcliffe has accepted Trump's nomination and now faces the Senate confirmation process. There is some confusion as to who will serve as acting director. Trump said he will appoint someone soon, but critics say the 2004 law establishing the office specifically says the principal deputy, in this case CIA veteran Sue Gordon, shall be in charge. Yeah. But, you know, Trump's not going to acknowledge that. He wants to appoint who he wants to appoint. It's part of his plan that he said from the start as he was draining the swamp. He claims to have identified the corrupt politicians and he's trying to get them taken care of. He just may not necessarily be fully respecting the law as he does it. At some point he has to acknowledge and fully understand that there are rules and regs that prevent him from just appointing whoever, whenever. He's following the rules, but he's certainly not following in the spirit of the rules. It has become the new normal that every Trump nomination is met by howls of outrage from both Democrats and the mainstream media. They seem to be alarmed by Ratcliffe far more than usual, however, amazingly, despite the complete catastrophe that Russiagate has turned into for the Democrats. Liberal pundits are once again arguing that this somehow helps Moscow. Here's Atlantic writer Adam Serwer claiming Coates is being replaced because he was trying to prevent foreign attacks on American elections. They're still trying to push Russiagate. Sad. Adam Serwer. Coates is getting ousted for taking steps to prevent foreign attacks on American elections. If you want to know how things are going. That was a tweet from Adam Serwer. CNN analyst Juliet Kayern argued along the same lines, claiming that Trump's goal is to stop any attempts to thwart Russian influence in 2020. Juliet Kayern. Ratcliffe, who has no business being nominated, is indeed qualified for ODNI, since Trump's goal is, as is McConnell's, is to stop any attempts to thwart Russian influence in 2020. That's an actual tweet. Yeah. They're still pushing this Russiagate crap. I can't believe it, can you? I mean, these people make Alex Jones look sane. And that is a feat in of itself. Not even he's prone to this level of cognitive dissonance. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer put forth another talking point that quickly became popular, that Ratcliffe is a Trump loyalist. The implication is clear. The DNI ought to have a higher loyalty, to borrow the title of ousted FBI Chief Jim Comey's self-serving book, not the elected president, but to the unelected bureaucracy in the secret world of spies. Presumably that higher loyalty led Comey, former DNI James Clapper, and former CIA Director John Brennan to claim that Russia hacked our democracy. In 2016, it targets Trump's campaign by spying on Carter Page and entrapping George Papadopoulos. Coates has covered for them so far, but Ratcliffe is unlikely, which certainly explains why Brennan would be nervous. Tweet from Molly. Brennan, one of the central figures of the Russian collusion hoax, both when he worked for Obama and as an anti-Trump pundit, is harshly criticized Ratcliffe for his skepticism of same. Nominating Coates, an establishment Republican longtime Russia hawk, may have made sense in February 2017, but he has since repeatedly demonstrated that his loyalty was more to the establishment than to the White House. You may recall that the day after Trump's attempt to mend relations with Russia at the Helsinki summit with Vladimir Putin, the DNI released a statement doubling down on the Clapper-Comey-Brennan assessment, blaming Russia for election meddling. His posture even led to MSNBC speculating he might have been the author of the notorious Lodestar New York Times op-ed penned by an anonymous executive branch official claiming to be a member of the anti-Trump resistance on the inside. Coates has denied the claim, however. So to finish this up, amid the outrage about Ratcliffe's nomination, few remember that the Texas congressman was one of the 2 Republicans on the House Intelligence Committee who actually saw the classified FISA documents that were used to get a warrant for spying on the Trump campaign. He did so as part of the House Intelligence Committee probe into the entire unsavory affair back in late 2017, which resulted in the Nunes memo in February 2018. The other former South Carolina congressman, Trey Gowdy, was so spooked by what he saw that he decided not to seek re-election and retreated into a career of a Fox News pundit. Ratcliffe, by contrast, went on to take a hard line in the Mueller investigation, hammering the special counsel in last week's hearings. Last September, Trump ordered the ODNI and the DOJ to declassify the Page FISA application. The related FBI files, all text messages relating to the Russian investigation, and interviews of a DOJ official linked to Fusion GPS, the firm that produced the so-called Steele dossier. Within 48 hours, Trump said he would let the Attorney General and DNI review those files before making them public. Out of concern for allies and intelligence sources' methods, precisely nothing has happened since, suggesting that Coates was slow-walking the process. With the Russiagate conspiracy now in shambles and Ratcliffe poised to blow the lid on the Spygate scandal that spawned it, no wonder the people involved and their partisan supporters are more than a little nervous. Those FISA warrants for an investigation were most likely filed under a false pretense. It is as I've said all along. It is as I have said all along. A Republican, Trump, won the presidency, and a Democrat did not. It is Democratic butthurt. And they commissioned Robert Mueller to head the investigation because he was a Republican. And since he was a Republican, that would provide them with, what was it called again? Plausible deniability, right. Plausible deniability because they're hiring someone who's a Republican. And how would they get him to cooperate? By convincing him that there was an actual precedent, which there was not. No precedent to accuse the president. See what I did there? But corny jokes aside, there you go. That's my opinion of it. So, make of this what you will. One thing is for sure clear. Russiagate is literally just the dumbest thing ever. Conspiracy theories are not just the realm of the right. Anyone can be a conspiracy theorist. Suck it.